Welcome back to the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz. Make sure you hit that subscribe button at the bottom left-hand corner, man. And you could hear my voice and all these interviews on all streaming platforms. My next guest, I actually met him at Head in the Clouds Festival in August. He has an EP out called Why Am I Like This, and he performed his record, My K-Pop Single, featuring Dumbfoundead. Fun fact, you might have heard him be the rap bear on Adventure Time. You dig? Had to do a little bit of research on that. He goes by the name of Rekstizzy. What's poppin', man?
Yo, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, bro. You know, when I first met you, I was just like, I don't know who this cat is, but then his face looks so familiar.
Yeah.
And then when I was looking back at like some of Dumbfounded's Fun with Dumb podcast, I was like, oh, that's the same dude who just appears on the podcast every so often.
Yeah, man. I mean, I usually go on there when like it's a New York guest or like it's somebody that Dumb thinks that I'd be good to be a co-host on. But yeah, man, it's a fun time. Fun with Dumb.
Well, yeah, weren't you were on the Cam Girl podcast?
Yeah.
And then were you on the Aquafina podcast? I don't think so.
I don't think I was on that one, but we did the live show taping one, and that shit was great because we had like legendary like Asian icons like Margaret Cho.
Yeah.
And then Far East Movement was there.
Oh, that's right. That's the one where you guys were like on stage or something. Yeah.
That shit was great.
That shit was looking lit, man.
I had to pee like the whole time. And I just left. I was like, yo, I gotta handle this.
You know, prior to the podcast starting, you said that you actually had like a podcast going back in like what, 2013, 2014?
2015, yeah.
Did you always want to be like a personality?
I mean, I was just I actually was listening to, you know, David Cho, the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he actually had a podcast which kind of inspired me to make one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was well, he had one called DVD ASA, which most people know. He had one with Asa Akira. And then
I saw that.
yeah. But before that, he had one called KGB, Koreans Gone Bad. And that one I think was even more legendary. That shit was like it was like 4-hour long podcast, bro.
Koreans Gone Bad.
Yeah, and I would just you know, that was back when I was on the East Coast, so I would take the train and I would commute a lot. So I had like a lot of time to kill. I was like, shit, I just like listen to part of it and then like just pause it and then go back when I got back on the train. And these guys were talking about crazy shit, man. All his friends are nuts, man.
Yeah.
They're all sickos.
Was it kind of just like stories of like your everyday Korean or like what was it about?
No, like not every day, like the most bizarre shit. Like these guys, like it wasn't just him. It was like his fucking like his friends. Like trying to think of some examples, but I mean So listen to that. I was a fan of that. So I became a fan of one of the guests that kept coming on. His name was Yoshi. Oh, fuck, I forgot his name. Obayashi. Yoshi Obayashi. He's a comedian. And yeah, that dude is just into sick shit, man. He just likes eating ass that's not clean. He goes to like porn star conventions.
Fuck?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yo, people think I'm crazy and like weird or whatever, but I'm like, dude, I'm not weird at all. Like I'm not I'm pretty, you know, I like weird shit. You know?
To the music, bro. I didn't realize that you've been in the rap game for such a long time.
Oh, man.
Like, what, almost a decade now?
Yeah.
On and off?
I want to just act like I just entered the game. There's just... being in, you know, doing this music shit is not easy.
And especially from, like, what? You said you were from New York?
Yeah.
And that's like the hub, like central nitty gritty of just like hip hop, bro.
Yeah. I think New York, just because it's like the birthplace of hip hop and stuff, sometimes like it kind of takes that for granted. So like honestly, now that you know with like gentrification and stuff like that, I don't know that New York has like that much like scene and like it's not as like if you go to Philly, I would see more like passion and like hunger.
Yeah.
You know, like these places where they kind of feel ignored. That's why I think the South and, you know, like those kind of regions like really, you know, took over kind of because like they're just like, I don't know.
Well, you think
Like,
about
yeah.
like the smallest cities in hip hop, right? Like J. Cole's from fucking North Carolina,
Yeah.
Fayetteville, and it's like nobody really knew where Fayetteville was, so it's kind of like you have to take it a little bit more seriously just so that people can take the city more seriously.
Yeah.
Like before this podcast started, we were just talking about Brockhampton.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Abstract's from Corpus Christi, Texas, not Houston, not Dallas, but Corpus Christi. And it's
crazy.
like, you know, like, I feel like when you come from a smaller city like that, like, you have a chip on your shoulder. Like,
Exactly.
I need to represent for my people.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, New York motherfuckers always like, yeah, we're from New York. Like, we're the best city, always, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that shit kind of makes you not go as hard and strive to, like, put your shit on. Like, and, yeah, like, honestly, growing up, you know, I loved New York rap. You know, that's my heart. But I also I felt like the other regions were doing, like, more weirder and more interesting things, you know?
Experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know, you had the underground scene, though, from, like, New York. You know, like, Def Jux and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
at the same time, yeah, like, I don't know.
But I think that's what it takes for like hip hop to grow in general, because New York really kind of just had like that boom bap sound that, you know, not too many people really take from nowadays.
Yeah.
And then when you looked at like the West Coast, like it was all like the gangster rap shit.
Right.
And even if you go up to the Bay, it was like all the hyphy shit, all the Bay Area shit.
Yeah.
And it's like for all these separate regions to have a different sound is really what makes hip hop, because at the end of the day, hip hop is that genre that takes from other genres just like make their sound, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I mean, like, just being here in the West Coast, too. Like, I think growing up, like, even talking to, like girls from the West Coast, like, they was into, like, Radiohead and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I don't think, well, the Asian girls. I don't think the Asian girls in on the East Coast were, like, fucking with that type of shit. Like, the abstract, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, it's just different out here. Like, a little bit more experimental.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, just being out in the scene, too. Like, I mean, shit, what was that event that, like, Fly Low, the beat scene shit?
I have no clue what you're talking about. So, what, it was a music event?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty big. I don't know if they're doing it anymore, but, whatever.
So you're at this music event.
No, I'm just saying,
Oh.
like, yeah. It, you know, like, things like that could pop up, you know, like, fuck, what was it called, though? Shit. Like, you know, like, people like Toki Monster would be there.
Fucking... Oh, my God. Okay, see,
I'm
now we're
taking you
on
down
the
this
same...
journey with
See,
me.
now I know exactly what you're talking about. Was
Yeah.
it, something LA? Identity LA? Toki Monster
No,
just
no,
performed
no,
at that.
no,
Not
no,
that,
no,
not that.
No. It's like Tom York played that shit, like, just
Oh,
popped
shit.
up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But, you know, now, do you know what Identity LA is?
Yeah, it's the,
So basically, it was like a benefit concert that happened not too long ago, and what they try to do every year is they push for like Asians in music, right?
yeah.
So this
I mean,
past year,
yeah,
Aquafina just like pulled up, and I think she like hosted for a little bit.
she got an award. I was there.
Yeah, she got an award.
There,
She got an award. Toki Monster pulled up and she performed. And, you know, I kept on looking around because the flyer said that, like, you know, it's a sold-out concert, so, you know, space is limited.
Yeah.
But I pulled up in that motherfucker and I was just like, what are you talking about, space is limited? It's empty as shit right now.
Yeah.
And for
me...
me...
I found out they were talking about that backstage. They, like, fucked up.
Oh.
Yeah, they, like, were telling people, like, where to go or some shit like that. But it was like... It was sold out. Like, people were, like... You know, RSVPing like hella early and everything. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, somebody fucked that up.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's so whack. When like, you know, it's a dope lineup, it's a good show, and then like mad people excited to go and see it, check it out, and then like somebody just like mismanaged that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still feel like there was like a big disconnect because, I mean, I was in like the little VIP section and everybody looked like a whole slew of business people. And then when I went back down to like the performance area, you know, it was kind of just like, you know, like the common folk, which I would consider as myself too. And I was just like, even in like the Asian culture, there's like a clear divide between like, you know, hierarchy. You got the business people on one side, then you got, you know, like legitimate fans, but there's still I feel like isn't enough support for like Asian Americans in music.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's for every, but in Korea, it's still like very much like money is everything. Like, even if like in a group of friends, like if you have the most money, you're like the one who gets to like have the last say and shit.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's like that shit governs everything, and that may just like permeate through all the Asian shit. Like you like even 88 Rising, you saw like the VIP, like the section next to the stage.
Yeah.
It was all like like random, like businessmen, like Asian businessmen.
The
Like, you're
VVIPs?
yeah, you're like, who is this guy? Yeah, this guy definitely flies out IG models and shit.
Yeah, right.
Those are the people who book those girls. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. That booking shit is real, man.
Oh, like actually people like booking IG models just to come out and everything?
Just to fucking get
Do you know somebody?
Smash, huh?
Do you know somebody?
I have a homie that actually did it. Like, he just, like, flew an IG chick out and then just, like, got her a hotel. And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to come through, like, once or twice this week. But, here's some spending money. And then I'm just like, yo, that's real. Like,
I mean, sometimes, like, a girl or even a guy just got to get it how they got to get it.
yeah. I'm not knocking the hustle,
Yeah.
but,
No,
just saying.
that's some real shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would ever have, like, the balls to do that type of shit. First of all, I've, like, damn near always been in a relationship.
Yeah.
So second of all, it's, like, the idea of, like, me and people who know me, it's like, why is Nico flying out some IG models to this concert right now?
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. They just started, they put some outfits on, and then little did they know, like a year later, they're just
Yeah.
they're a hoe. I don't know.
Did you stay throughout the entire concert?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, you saw me, I was trash. Like,
Bro, you were super trash.
I was fucking, because like after we were waiting to drink, because I don't like to get fucked up before a performance. Like, I'll do like a shot, like a beer or something, but like, yeah, I'm way past the, in the beginning, a lot of rappers like to get super trashed before they go on, and it's just not professional.
And it also calls for a bad performance, because you're kind of setting your bar like a lot low at that point.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you have like hella fans and they know your music already, it's kind of okay, because like they're gonna say the lyrics too, but and you don't. It's a cheat code, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when you're like an artist like me, who's like, I have to like win them over, I have to bring that high energy, I have to like be able to say my lyrics without like slurring every word. Yeah, I'm not gonna drink and shit. So we're waiting to party and get fucked up. So like, yeah, right after that, dumb set was over, we just fucking hit that open bar, Johnny Blue.
Yeah, I was on that shit all night, bro.
Man. Yo, it's not too often you get an open bar Johnny Blue situation, man. That shit was so fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah, they had red, black, blue, Johnny Walker. That shit was lit.
I don't know who was ordering red, but they're fucking bizarre. That shit.
Well, the blue kind of just ran out towards the end, and I was like, okay, well, just hit me with black. He's like, oh, all we have is red. I'm like, fuck it, just hit me with the red, then I ain't tripping.
Well, I guess by then you're already drunk. You don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I didn't give a fuck anymore. Yeah. But, so, it was crazy because during that quick interview that we had, you said that you kind of like, you made Dumbfoundead feel guilty about the whole thing. How far in advance, like, were you trying to, like, plant the seed to, like, have him think, like, yo, like, I'm going to have Rexx come out during my set?
I think usually, like, it'd be cool because, like, he usually gets, like, a 40-minute, hour-long set.
Mm-hmm.
He has so many hit songs, He's been in the game for a minute now. It trips me out when people say, like, he's up and coming. That sucks, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, he's been in the game so long.
I mean, I get it, bro. I get it because it's, like, as big as he is to, like, the Asian community, like, on a worldwide scale, like, he still is, like, pretty small. Because even just, like, the other day, right, I had this cat in here, and then he was like, hey, like, whatever happened to, like, that Asian, like, rapper from a couple years ago? I'm like, who? He's like, Rich Chigga. I was like, you mean Rich Brian? I'm like, he's still doing his thing, but just as, like, Rich Brian and, like, in a big-ass scale. He's like, oh, I didn't even realize he was still active. So people could still look at like a Rich Brian, for example, and be like, he's still on the come up despite how big he is in the Asian community.
They just be moving too fast. Like, motherfucking Lil Pump's like an OG now to like some rappers.
That's so weird, bro.
Some little kids like, yo, Lil
that's
Pump,
weird.
Lil Pump. Yeah, but oh yeah. So like, but like with Dumb, you know, it'd be no problem because he has like a 40 hour long set, but yeah, they gave him like 15, 20 minutes. So I was like, shit, it's probably not going to want to do one of my joints. But yeah, that shit just goes so hard, though. That shit, I mean, I wish you checked it out. Like, that shit.
Dude, I was still, like, in the back of the line, and then all I heard was my K-pop single. I was like, wait, what is this song?
Oh, you heard this shit?
Yeah, I heard it from, like, the line. I was just like, okay, like, this song slaps. I just don't know who it is right now.
Yeah. I kind of snapped on that fucking hook. It's so catchy. Like, because, like, I'm not, like, trying to toot my own horn, but, like, toot my own horn is just such a weird thing to say. But, like, whenever I play that shit for people or, like, they hear it, like, 5 minutes later, they'll say it to themselves. They'll be like, my K-pop single. Like, without, like, realizing it. And I'm just like, oh, shit. Like, this is, like, for real, like, a catchy song. Like, undeniably. I'm like, it always happens. And then, like, I even played it for my homie, Jay Park, like, when it was, like, not even mixed yet. And then, like, 3 months later, he came back to L.A. to, like, visit. And then, like, he still knew the lyrics.
To word. That's crazy.
I'm just like, yo. I mean, it's not, like, a complex hook. But
I mean, it's not a complex hook, but it was catchy enough to, like, like, months later, somebody still remembers this shit.
The in-between parts, because it's, like, my K-pop single. Let's go.
Well, that's why when we were talking, you said, like, I have a song out called My K-Pop Single. I was like, that's the fucking song that I was hearing. Instantaneously. I want to ask you this, bro, because, like, your record...
Wait, you mind if
it's all good. Your record K-Pop Single isn't necessarily a traditional K-pop song, right? So, like, is the music that you make, has it even, like, reached Korea in any sense? Like, even that sound sonically?
I think Korea is definitely very up on things. Koreans are really good at copying stuff, but, like, making it really good. Like, making it, because they work really hard, you know what I'm saying? And they take that, like, work ethic and just put it into whatever they're doing. So, like, like, fucking technology and shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, all that stuff. So, even, like, you ever see Planet B-Boy?
No, I haven't.
It's a documentary.
Okay.
And it just, like, kind of showcases that. Like, where like, Koreans, like, I think they won that year for, like, the big B-Boy.
Okay.
But, like, they were just saying, like, like, these Koreans know how to, like, just take, like, the power moves and then just, like, put their spin on it.
Yeah.
And make it even...
That's why I'll talk to, like, hell of my homies, and they'll just be like, you know who the best dancers are? I'm like, who? They always tell me, like, Asians.
I mean, I don't know about that, but
because
we are pretty good, though.
Pretty fucking good.
I mean, the Filipinos.
You know what I mean? Like, you go to an arcade, you see a DDR, it's like there's at least one Asian motherfucker killing that shit.
But is that really dancing though? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but to your point, it's just like I feel like if we want to talk about Koreans and specifically, it's like y'all can really just take like one thing and like maximize it. Because I feel like Asians are a lot more, like, observant in that way. Like, we'll see, like, the little bits and things and just be like, okay, well, how can we improve this just, like, one notch even more?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what K-pop is. It's like, let's take every element, like, the boy band shit. Let's take the fucking, let's take what's popping right now, if it's electronic music. And then, like, mix it in with this trap shit. And then, like, you know what I'm saying? And then just... And they'll just make, like, random concoctions. Let's take, like, a 90s kind of style of hook.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, dude, I think I was at, I was in, like, Little Tokyo, I think, for, like, New Year's or something, right? And me and my girl usually get, like, this Japanese soup. And I think it's to, like, signify, like, good health for the rest of the year. And so we're in this Japanese restaurant. I'm looking at the TV screen. And then I don't know what K-pop band it was, but they were straight up singing in Spanish.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
wait, how the fuck does this make sense right now? But they were doing it
They
so
don't give a
well.
shit,
Like, they didn't
man.
give a shit. But I'm just like, if I closed my eyes right now, like, I wouldn't even tell if they were Asian or not because they just did Spanish so fucking well.
You're gonna be like, oh, and the K-pop, like the trainees and all that shit, is rigorous, bro. Like they have like every week, like everybody in the whole camp, like, you know, they'll like make teams and shit, and then like they all perform in front of everybody, and then they're just like, yo, your fucking facial expression is off, like
That's nuts.
yeah, the way you flickered your wrist, that shit was fucked up. You might get chopped. You might kick you out this, shit like that. It's crazy, man. I mean, I don't really know because I wasn't in there, but like from what I seen,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, man, Korea, it shit is great. Actually, one of the artists that's like really popping out there right now, PH1.
You had a song with him, right?
Yeah. That was like his first music video and shit, and like I think now that he's blowing up, people are going back to that and then seeing that shit. So like, yeah, like here and there, I have like little, like people have little glimpses of me.
Yeah.
I did a song with this dude, G2. That's the homie right there. I was on like 2 songs on his last album. So yeah, I'm in there.
Well, that's
here
why,
and
like,
there.
you know, like, if even if I just like YouTube your name, right? Like, you have a song with Dumb, you have a song with Aquafina, you know, PH1, right? And it's like your name is featured on so many like music, but I feel like you haven't had like that song that's like it's Rekstizzy's song,
right,
at least not yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to find that, you know. I think throughout the years, just being an artist, it took me a while to really kind of find my vibe, you know, because like coming from like New York, you have like this aggressive energy, and I do have that, you know, in me, like when I like get blackout drunk, like it comes out. I try to be a nice guy. I try to be a good boy, you know, like everybody wants to like, you know, dress like they want to look hard. They want to have like a hard, you know, exterior. But I'm
And here we go. This motherfucker got like frogs on his.
I love frogs, and that's a big part of my brand too. Like the frogs, people always want to know what that's about. But honestly, I don't know how it happened. Like,
It was just one of them things.
yeah, I think I just like liked the frog, like the image. But then like after I decided that, like, I just started seeing frogs everywhere. Like, I'll be, like, listening to an audiobook, and then the main character's like, yeah, and I felt like a frog. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, yeah, and I watched, like, some like, documentary, and then...
About frogs and shit?
And then, no, not even.
Oh.
And then a frog will
just
pop
shows
out.
up.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just see it everywhere.
Is a frog lucky in Korean culture?
Nah.
No?
There's actually people associated with. There's like this famous story where like these little frog kids.
Oh, I need you to break down the story, bro.
I mean, it's not that deep. These frog kids wouldn't listen to their mom, and their mom died.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like a set. It's like a. There's like a moral or some shit to it.
I mean, what's the moral behind that? Like,
I don't know. Your mom's gonna die.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just remember growing up, bro. Like, my mom would like try to be like super strict on me, and not that I would be rebellious, but then because she was super strict, like by the time I was able to stretch my legs, like I stretched my legs and I was doing fucking everything, bro.
Yeah.
How were you growing up?
I was, you know. I was silly, man. I was just, you know, really perverted.
What?
I was really into porn really early on.
At what age did you start watching porn?
I don't, you know, I think I don't want to say his name, but the other day my homie was like, yeah, when I first saw porno, right? He saw it on it was a VHS tape. He put it in. He saw sex going on, and then he freaked out.
Like, cause he didn't know what the fuck was going on.
What's going on? And then he
Yeah.
pulled the fucking tape out and just ripped the tape out. He's like really freaking out. But I
Shit.
remember the first time I saw titties, I was like, yo, this shit's tight.
Yeah. This shit's
Titties
ill.
are tight, dude. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, I got into trouble, but I wasn't like, I didn't go all the way. You know what I mean? Like I was just like yeah, started smoking weed and like doing drugs like relatively early, like what, 7th grade.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then like, you know, growing up in New York, there's like a lot of like, you know, who has beef, like who's at your back, and like there's a lot of like it kind of like after like I guess like Giuliani like kind of cleaned up New York a little bit, like that Asian gang culture around the time I was growing up, it was kind of like leaving. Like it wasn't as hardcore. Like the generation before me, it was like, yeah, we was bringing our gats to church, and yeah, and then like, but
shit, crazy.
those were like our older brothers and shit.
Yeah.
So like we would still like hear those stories. So like we were going around like, you know, just being punks and shit, like trying to start shit with people, and you know, like I'm just glad like I never like went all the way into that, because I have friends who like, you know, they get locked up, they get, you know, killed and shit like that, and it's just like, it's like, what for, man? Like we lucked out and we didn't have to be in that. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like a way of life for the, you know, older generations. You know, but yeah, there was a lot of like, you know, yeah, and the funny shit is like beef when it's like Asians or like I guess Koreans, like there's a lot of like, you know, if you kind of like want to yield, like kind of admit that, you know, you can't fight off all the motherfuckers that the person you beef with has. They'd be like, you fucked up, now get on your knees, and then just like smack him in front of everybody.
For real?
Yeah, like it's like growing up Asian is very interesting, because like you growing up in America, but then there's like these little bits of like Asian culture, like Korean things from the like motherland that come into your lifestyle, things like that, like just shaming somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't hear about that shit like in
No,
other
but
races.
then yeah, and you really don't. But that seems a lot more like it just sounds embarrassing to go through that type of shit.
Yeah, it's worse than getting beat up. It's like just getting smacked and then you just gotta eat it. And then
Yeah. So what? I mean, you know, was it really the fact that like the generation prior to us, since they were part of like that Asian gang culture, was that like the real reason why you kind of like stayed away from that, or was there something else?
I just think I kind of I think I just kind of like part of it is like luck and just sense, like I shouldn't, you know what I mean? Like I was, you know, just drinking 40, smoking blunts, and just like freestyling and shit. And then like, you know, being a knucklehead, but I just never got like, I guess, too caught up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think like a bunch of dudes like around my age, they all went to jail because they all just got fucked up, and then they just like stomped out a dude and they died. So then, you know, that could have definitely been me. Like if I was like chilling with them at the time, I would have been like, hell yeah, let's fucking stomp the shit out of this dude, you know, just like because it's funny.
Yeah.
But
and kind of like also in that culture too, like if you're like part of that, like you kind of have to just like go with the wave that they're going with too.
Yeah. And I mean, looking back now, the shit is absolutely not funny. Like, yeah, that's just fucked up. Like, just, and then, you know,
That's why like gang culture is so interesting to me, bro, because I actually interviewed Stupid Young sometime last year, and he was telling me like as soon as his family moved out here, it's like, you know, especially as you come in as like a new group, in his sense, like Cambodians, it's kind of like you kind of get murked by the people around you. So you need to be able to like formulate like a gang or some sort of like, you know, bond together so that like your entire group does not get fucked by like the surrounding groups.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like that's the the generation I was talking about. I think absolutely that's what they were doing. It's like for survival. You know what I'm saying? Like LA too. Like the gang culture is crazy out here.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I absolutely like I definitely see like how that could happen. And that's why I'm saying like I was thankful that I didn't need to, really like we could have just been good ass kids. I mean, basically I was knucklehead and shit, I wasn't a good ass kid. I was kind of a dickhead. I remember like in high school when I like graduated.
Yeah.
And shit, like well, the fact that I graduated and went to college, that does I am, I don't know, man. I guess I had moments and when I was being a fucking dick and moments when I was being good. But yeah, my high school yearbook, like there's mad like messages of like people saying like, "Oh, you're such an asshole. Like you're like a bully."
Damn.
And then like, but then and towards the end you became like nicer. I think, just growing up, like, just being a teen, you're just like angry and shit for no reason. You got that angst, and then I was smoking a lot of weed, and I think smoking weed was like making me numb. So
Numb to what?
just like I just wanted to like just I would just roast people, just make them feel shitty.
Oh, got you.
And then like it would just be funny to me. Like I have like no empathy and no like emotion. Just like I just wanted to laugh. And I think I got assigned a social worker, because like I threatened the teacher, and then they were just like, yeah, you're getting suspended. You're getting a social worker. And then I got the social worker, and I just like met up with her, and she just had me talk about like whatever. And I think that kind of changed me a little bit. Like, I think people just need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
And your homies, or you're not gonna talk to your parents when you're that age. They're like, fuck you, you guys don't understand shit. Especially the immigrants. And your homies just can be like, yo, shut up, like stop being a
bitch.
Little bitch, right? So like, just talking to somebody, just talking about anything. I didn't really like go into like, oh, these are like my problems and stuff. I would just be like, yeah, like this is what happened today, blah blah blah. And then yeah, like that shit just made me, I think, stop smoking weed less. I mean, smoking weed less, and I just became nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me think about like how this day and age, because I feel like nowadays a lot of us have this communication barrier where we can't necessarily talk to each other, because like the kids nowadays are just so caught up in like social media and clout and all that type of shit. Like, and when we were growing up, like that shit didn't even exist.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't even imagine like what certain kids are going through nowadays with that communication barrier.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what growing up in like going to like fucking middle school, like having all this. Well, actually, like babies, you see like you go to a restaurant and you see the kids on the iPad all the time.
Yeah, all the time, bro.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. So like, yeah, being in high school right now, where like everyone has like checking like how many followers they have and shit. That shit's wild.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to be the most popular kid in school no more. You're trying to be like the most popular just teen in general.
In the fucking world.
Yeah.
And it's like you think about how big the world is, like, bro, like that shit doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man. It's fucking wild, dude.
So, when do you, let's take a hard left.
Yeah.
When do you start rapping?
What do you mean? Oh, when did I start rapping?
Yeah.
I think like in 6th grade.
Super early,
Yeah.
dude.
We just rap, like me and my friend were listening to like, I think like, just like, so back in the day, you remember like they would sell like CD singles with like the song, the radio edit, and then like instrumental,
acapella, all that shit.
Yeah, and we're just like banging those, and then like we were just bored as fuck, and we were like, yo, we should like rap over this shit, and then after that day, we just kept like freestyling, and then like start smoking weed and like drinking, and it's like just want to express yourself.
Who are you rapping to, or like what kind of beats were you rapping over?
I think the first I think the instrumental that we rapped over was like a Mace song.
Some May shit. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to Puff Daddy.
Who were you listening to growing up?
Well, I started. I think like the song that really made me like really fuck with hip hop was Method Man's "Sweet Love."
Oh wow,
and
that's a gem.
Because it was just so perverted, and I was like, how can they talk about this shit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is wild. You know, there's people like me who like really appreciate hip hop as an art form, and like just because like I'm like, it really spoke to me like as a youth, like yo, like, you know, especially coming from like an Asian household, you're like, yo, I wanna see like things that like expressing like the kind of like thoughts that I be having and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like just all these like it's just being yourself and just like saying hella curse. Like I was cursing hella early, and like I didn't understand why I couldn't. I'm gonna let my kids curse.
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a fuck. Like, like, yeah, and that just like made me like really like fall in love with hip hop.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, hip hop amongst everything else, it's really that hub for people for self-expression.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's made people like gravitate towards it a lot more, and even like mainstream is like using hip hop elements like in their music.
Yeah, and even in Korea, like I think like the female rappers being able to, there was like you ever heard of Show Me the Money? It's
no,
like a
I
rap.
haven't.
It's like a almost like American Idol, but for rappers.
Okay.
And it's like huge out there, but there was like a female spinoff, and I think that shit alone like opened a lot of doors for like how women are allowed to like talk and like behave on TV.
Damn, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, like the title of the show is hella corny though. It was called Unpretty Rap Star.
Unpretty Rap Star.
Yeah.
See, I don't know,
Wild
man.
Sus, man. That's
like, hella crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah, like.
See, I don't know about that because, you know, I think right now, hip hop's like what 47 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
But especially right.
It's just not funny. It sounds like you're talking about a person. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, hip hop's around like 47 years old, which is still pretty young for like a music genre, right?
Yeah.
But then you think about the types of artists who are breaking out nowadays, and I'm not trying to categorize anybody or anything, but it's like the female artists are really like making their move right now. The Asian and like the Latino artists are really making a move into it right now. And it sucks because I guess these like subgroups in hip hop really need to be categorized in order to get that shine on them. And it's kind of like a backwards way of thinking, but then it does work.
Yeah. I mean, people just need things to be put into little boxes and shit. Like, people say they want new stuff, say they want, you know, they like new shit, but then, unless you're, like, young, because, like, young people, like, they like to wrestle with things, they're more open to things. I think the more we grow, the older we grow, we've formed opinions on like mad shit. We have like frame of references, and yeah, we're just like not lazy, but like maybe unwilling or too tired to like keep challenging ourselves. That's why I like Kanye West. Like Yeezus is my favorite like Kanye album.
Yeah.
Because at first I didn't like it, and then I just you know. Instead of like just putting it down after one listen and be like, it's not really for me, putting it down, I just kept playing it. And then like I started to like understand, and now it's like my favorite shit. Like Eminem, you know, his Encore album?
Yeah.
People hate that shit, right?
Yeah.
That's my favorite Eminem.
But it's kind of like that, you know, it's kind of like that old head mentality because all the old heads think about like, you know, hip hop from like the 90s. It's like that golden era shit. Like we want some like nitty gritty boom bap type of shit. Yeah. And it's like you listen to the music that's popping off right now, whether it be like a Lil Uzi Vert or a fucking like DaBaby. It's like they look at this music like, nah, this shit is trash. This shit isn't hip hop anymore. But it's such like a conventional way of thinking because in order for the genre to keep being interesting, it needs to evolve and it needs to change throughout
Yeah.
the years. So for somebody like yourself who likes a Yeezus, it's like, yeah, not everybody's gonna like a Yeezus, but then Yeezus spawned like a whole bunch of like fucking artists who like talk about like whether it be like the depression rap shit or whether it be like, you know, people like being on like some demonic type shit, you know, like it spawns that type of movement.
Yeah. Nobody was doing
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But then people got
I mean,
the crazy ad libs on this shit now.
I mean, but well, actually, people were, but not on that level.
Yeah.
That's why that fucked me up. I was like, people were like, yo, like, Death Gripper's been doing it, but not on that level. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference. But going back to like the old head, whatever, like, I'm kind of torn because I get it. You know what I mean? The old head motherfuckers, like, they're mad, and I think they have a right to be too, because it's like, this hip hop shit, there's tradition, there's rules, there's like, you know, like, motherfuckers trying to preserve like high quality an art form, you know? So like, but I'm also the type, I'm maybe it's because I'm a Gemini or some shit, but I don't like being held down to, you know, rules.
Yeah.
And like, I love like when anything goes. Like, I like, the most genius thing about Soulja Boy, I think, is that
let's get into this.
The most genius thing about Soulja Boy. Have you ever used Fruity Loops?
Yeah.
You played around with it, right? College?
Yeah. High school.
Okay,
High school.
But if you listen to Crank That Soulja Boy, right? Those sounds that he used, what are they? They're stock sounds. They're like the most basic shit. If you're a legit producer, you're not gonna use that shit. It's like, that's the rules. Like, you're just like, hell no. But he took those stock sounds and fucking made #1 hit, you know?
Yeah.
Sold million ringtones.
Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like the man versus machine thing, like, where people are like, I can't do this art because I don't have that red camera. I don't have this equipment.
No, you're just making excuses for yourself.
Exactly. Like, there's motherfuckers who shoot films that are winning awards with iPhones.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I think nowadays, too, like, I'll see people's, like, music videos, right? And then sometimes it'll be, like, in that old, like, 1080 by 1080 box form, or people will literally just, like, shoot their music videos off their iPhones. And to me, I'm just kind of like, it's kind of genius because it kind of makes people believe that you can maximize, like, success, or you can maximize your creativity as long as you have some sort of, like, toolbox to work with.
And you just have to have like kind of a desperation and like a need to express. Like, you have to have, like, if you're dying right here, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I need like the best connection. I'm gonna fucking do whatever I can to get you help. I might run out the door.
You better give me
saying?
CPR if anything, bro.
I'm gonna scream out the window.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
It's like, yeah, like, you know, and that's why so many good documentaries are like about like some shit that's going down.
Yeah.
And like, these people have to get this message out, you know? And a lot of artists or wannabe artists like that aren't doing it is because they don't have that message yet. They haven't found that. They're too interested in, you know, studying the masters and like the techniques. And then you got Soulja Boy who's like, I gotta make this single.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta
pay my rent.
I'm gonna just use whatever, and I'm gonna fucking. But I know I have a good ear, and I'm gonna make it hot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So what's the causation of your desperation to be in hip hop?
You know what? It's just I feel alive, man. Like, when I'm making a song, I'll go to the studio and just get drunk and just like, yeah, and just like, I just feel like there's nothing better than just fucking, I'll leave a lit party and just like, if my homie's like, yo, pull up to the studio, like, you know, it just free, because I don't have like a dedicated studio. I don't have like a dedicated engineer. I don't have like any of that. So any opportunity where I can just like go through and just like bang out a song, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, just like when I complete a joint, that's fucking dope as fuck. Like, yo, it's just like I feel like this is like I feel that, I guess like that feeling like I don't know how to describe it. Like one with the universe and shit.
Yeah. You feel at peace and shit.
Yeah. I get, we're all just energy anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man.
Do you think that the fact that you don't have like a set studio, do you think that is like detrimental to your growth because you're kind of just like taking opportunities whenever you can get it?
I mean, it just makes me more, I guess, more hungry. Like, I don't know, like there's things I could figure out. Like, I mean, there's no excuses, you know what I'm saying? Like like I said, like
you can still make a K-pop single.
Yeah, I'm gonna people are gonna figure it out, There's people who are like recording. There was like one dude who like recorded at an Apple store.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
There's no excuse. I don't think it's an excuse. I'm just saying, the actual situation I'm in. But if I need to bang it out, I'm gonna get it done somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Being an indie artist has made me just very resourceful. Pulling hella favors and then having to return a favor in any way that I can. Whether it's writing or like plugging them in with a high paying gig or something. I gotta do whatever I can, and yeah, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the industry, man. Like music doesn't necessarily have like that set job that'll pay you unless you're at like the top of that food chain.
Yeah.
But even so, it's like working as like an independent like podcast artist, whatever. Like you kind of just live off these favors.
Yeah, exactly. I think when an artist like blows up too fast, they just get spoiled and shit. But like right now, if I had the resources and shit, I would fucking kill it.
Yeah.
I feel like, because I have the skills like I've developed over the years. Now I know exactly like what I need, all that shit. Like there's no wasting time.
Yeah.
I'd love to be an industry plant.
So do you feel like moving like from New York to Los Angeles was part of like that, like those things that you need in order for you to grow?
Yeah, absolutely. I think in New York, the mindset is very like, New Yorkers are known to be very blunt, and like there's a lot, they're just like hating on each other or like not willing to help each other. Like when you're on the same level, like motherfuckers on the bottom are like fighting for that bottom spot when you could be thriving in the bottom spot together and push each other up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's like a real big disparity between like the dude at the bottom and then it's like ASAP Rocky, Like there's not much middle ground.
There's no middle.
And I feel like LA there's a lot of middle ground. So I saw that. I was performing a lot like all over Brooklyn, in the city. Not many places to perform in Queens, unfortunately. But yeah, I just felt like I needed to change the pace, and yeah, like I said, like with gentrification, all that shit, like just like a lot of finance bros like in the city. You know what I'm saying? It's like no, like there's not that many scenes. And then every time I came to LA, I would see like Do Over, I'd see that beat scene like, shit that we can't fucking remember.
Yeah.
God damn. Low End Theory.
Yes.
Come on,
yes.
man.
There we go.
Yeah. You said Identity.
No, I thought it was Identity.
That's the Asian side coming out.
Yeah, right. That. But like, see, it's kind of crazy because like I felt like New York would be like as bountiful as LA, but then it sounds like now I'm getting the idea that like there's not really much like scenes like that in New York, but in LA now I feel like
there are pockets though for sure.
But there's like so much in LA. You know what I mean? Like this Saturday, there's literally like 5-6 events that motherfuckers hit me up about, and I'm just like, yo, I can only go to 1 or 2. Like I can't do all this shit.
Yeah, but I mean there was like that Echoplex, the Echoplex Rising, where like Slug Christ was doing a acoustic set.
Yeah.
Like, I get there's something every night.
Yeah.
And like different, like there's like a party called Heaven where like there's like the SoundCloud rapper fan types mixing with the LGBT,
What the hell?
community.
That's
Like
crazy.
the crowd is
yeah.
mad diverse, yo, and I love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, I didn't really see that in New York. And
But yeah, that diversity really helps with like pushing the culture forward.
Yeah,
because then like I mean,
and all the rappers move out here. Once you get popping, you're not really moving to New York. You're going to New York to do press. You're moving to LA, where it's always sunny. You can shoot music videos whenever you want. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's one thing too. I remember like one music video I had. It's called God Bless America.
Yeah.
It's like heavily featured in the Bad Rap documentary. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, I seen a glimpse of it.
Yeah. You see a glimpse of it.
I saw the trailer.
Okay.
I saw the trailer.
Yeah. So like that day too, like we were like, yo, praying it wouldn't rain, and there was a chance there was like a fucking cloud.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have that shit out here, man. I mean, even when it rains, it's like for like an hour. Yeah.
Well, like
going
to this Bad Rap documentary, which when was that? Like 2016, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016. So about 3 years ago. How have you seen like the different, I guess like the evolution for like Asians in hip hop? And let me bring it back even further too, because if I type your name in on Google, there's actually like a BET interview that you did back in like 2013 talking about like Miley Cyrus and all that.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I went on like Huffington Post Live.
You're on Huffington Post?
Yeah, I was like,
that's crazy.
I'm trying to get Miley Cyrus pregnant.
Yeah. And you said that, and it was interesting because you said like all the way back then in 2013 that like Asians need to have like the tabloids. We need to be able to like hit those headlines in order to be relevant.
Yeah.
Like 6 years later, do you still think that is the same thing that we need to go through in order to become like prominent in this game?
I said it more like that, more as like a temperature check.
Okay.
Like, we don't necessarily need to, but I think if middle America and like these moms are going to grocery stores and trying to find out who we're dating and trying to find out what our latest scandal is, then that's like the most relevant you could be.
Shit.
That's kind of what I meant.
So then do you think like now...
And if I got Miley Cyrus pregnant back then...
Yeah, then you would be...
Yeah, that's hella relevant.
So then do you think like we as Asians still need that today? Or is the music like good enough for us to just like do the music and then that's how our names are going to be pushed out?
I mean, just being skilled is like cool. Like let the music speak for itself, but then what people want is a story. People want to find out what the fuck, what's this guy eat? Is it weird? Like there's got to be something. I mean, that's all goes with like branding and shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you just have the music, it's like that's cool, but yeah, like I think there was like a big stigma around reality TV back in the day. Like if you want to be a rapper and shit, you want to be on. But I'd gladly be on like reality TV shows. That shit, because it really, people get to know your personality and shit. You know what I'm saying? Riff Raff came a long way from G's to Gents.
100%. 100%.
I love Riff Raff, by the way.
Yeah?
That guy's hilarious, dude.
He's funny, bro.
Yeah, like...
Well, that's why if Riff Raff was around, like, if he was, like, around when the social media age really started happening, like, he'd be like...
I mean, I think he...
But even more.
Guess, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I honestly... people don't like Riff Raff. They think he's garbage. I mean, he definitely has fans. But, like, the average, like, rap head, But, like, I like to see, like, like, I like shit that's stupid, but, like, done in a kind of genius way. Or, like, an unorthodox way. Like, he's, like, one of the fucking most wittiest people.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Like... Versace, like saying Versace shoulder shrug and shit like that. Like, that's just hilarious. Yo, how do you think of that shit?
Yeah.
And if people took the time to just not judge somebody by their image and just look at how like beautiful that is, that's just fucking hilarious and amazing. Like people gotta just stop taking stuff so seriously.
But I think, hold on. We're almost there. But I think too, like even going back to the the idea of reality TV and why people love it so much. I think all of us now have that opportunity to create a reality TV show for ourselves at any given time. Like we can hop like on an Instagram live and just do whatever the fuck we want to do,
but
and
you're
that's
not on
reality.
the TLC network, bro.
Yeah, no,
I want to get on TLC so bad. Hey, you ever watch 90 Day Fiance?
No, wait, what is that?
I've been binging that shit so fucking
90
good,
Day
man.
Fiance.
It's like somebody from America
Okay.
will fall in love with somebody like from wherever, right? Russia or some shit. And then they get the K1 visa where it's like they have 90 days to get married. So like throughout the show, it's like 90 days of seeing whether they want to get married or not.
Yeah.
And then it's so funny like seeing like these fiancés who are, I mean, these like people who are just obviously just trying to get a green card, and then there's some that are just like actually in love, and you're just like trying to guess who's who, and you're like, this couple's trash and this couple's dope. Like it's fucking hilarious, man.
Well, there's ways to go about it. Even my girl's into The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Right? And she was telling me that this one guy was going throughout the entire show, and he had initially said like, "Oh, I'm a musician." Right?
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the end where they find out that this guy, his full intent was he left his like girlfriend prior to the show starting.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I'm using this to boost my music career."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many ways to go about it. I mean, obviously that guy's trash to the rest of the world now, but it's like he got what he wanted. He got his exposure.
Yeah.
Some people like his music, and then majority of America doesn't fuck with him because of that.
You know, yeah, just like being like, you just want to be part of some conversation, whether it's good or bad. You know, I guess no bad press is bad press.
Yeah.
No press is.
Shout out to
How's it go?
Shout out to LeVar Ball. You know?
Wait, what is it? No press is bad press? No.
Even bad press is good press. All press is good press. No. Something like that. Something like that.
We're just not that sharp today.
No, not one bit.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we should have had a couple drinks before this podcast started because we're forgetting all this shit.
Yeah, I haven't eaten anything today.
What?
Yeah, you know I slept at like. I was gonna text you and like be like let's postpone it.
Yeah.
Because I slept at like 8 o'clock or some shit, 7, 8. Yeah, and I woke up. I don't know how I woke up.
Oh, I would have damn near postponed it, bro. Like that's crazy.
And then I woke up like 3 hours later, and then you like texted me like, "Yo, we still good for today?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
What were you doing last night?
Actually, I stream on Twitch, by the way.
Gamer?
Yeah, I play games on there. I eat on there, and then I have my own podcast on there called Best Friend Con.
Oh, tight.
Yeah. So earlier I was saying how like I had that kind of a podcast about like Asians doing like unorthodox and like creative pursuits. I felt like there was a ceiling to that. And then I came with this new podcast called Best Friend Con because it's something like I'm really interested in, and it's about friendship. Basically, like what's more important than friendship? Like throughout your life, you know. Even when you get married, it's like you kind of
you have to have some sort of
like
friendship with it.
Yeah. And you know, so basically, I just invite like a pair of best friends, or I have like one person come on and just kind of talk about
their best friend.
Yeah, their best friend, or like what's a good friend to them, and like it's kind of like a way to just do an interview with somebody, but like they can't like do bits and just like, you know, they have to have that kind of guard down because it's honest, it's sincere thing. I mean, it's, you know, we have like I say stupid shit on there all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like mad serious, but it's also like, you know, you get to really, you know, find out like who their first friend was and why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, during our interview at the Idiot Rising Festival, you said you finessed your best friend Dumbfoundead. You finessed your best friend Dumbfoundead to get, you know, you to perform. So like, I guess in a sense, what makes Dumbfoundead your best friend since we're on this topic?
Man, we just we just click, man. You know, do you fuck with like astrology and shit?
I dabble here and there.
Yeah. I'm not like strict to it.
Shout out to the Gemini.
Yeah.
You dig?
What are you?
I'm a Pisces, March 14th.
Oh shit, this guy a sensitive guy over here.
Super sensitive. You dig?
Yeah.
There's two of me swimming in the water just trying to figure out life.
Well, Pisces, y'all creative and hard working and shit too, though.
Well, you know, you're a Gemini like Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Well, all the best rappers are Gemini.
Yeah, bro.
Okay,
'Cause
Tupac,
you guys are able to see like both sides.
Kanye, Andre 3000.
Yeah.
Shit. I feel like every time you ask me a question,
we just get off topic.
Yeah, I know. Every time, because I'm like thinking, like while I'm talking, I'm like, yo, should
It was
I
like,
go
what was
back?
that question
Should
again?
I bring it up? That we didn't. Yeah.
But yeah, like what's created the credentials for Dumbfoundead to be your best friend?
Yeah, so it's like Outkast, like Big Boy and Andre, like he's Aquarius, I'm Gemini.
Oh hell no, that is crazy to me.
Why?
That's crazy. Well, because like I had this guy in, his name's XV, right? He's like one of my favorite rappers from Kansas, and he's actually creating a astrology hip hop book, and in this book,
dude,
he's like comparing. He's seeing how like the partnership between like certain people like Andre 3000 and Big Boy, or like a J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar.
How far along is he in this book?
He has like everything mapped out, but he hasn't like written it yet. But he has.
I had that
everything
idea.
mapped out.
I pitched it to this other rapper writer named J Zone. And because he's like into that shit too, and then I was like, yeah, we like this is like amazing. Like,
yeah.
You know, but
I mean,
we never acted on it. So
yeah.
I definitely want to check that shit out.
Yeah.
Like, yo, tell him like
get that shit done.
Yeah. He has, like my full support. It's an amazing concept.
It's crazy shit because I mean going back to it like Aquemini, Dumbfounded's probably born in January or even like early February.
Yeah.
And then you know you're born in what's Gemini, July?
June.
Yeah. So like even you guys are like Aquemini, so you guys work together well.
Yeah. But yeah, like just you know, we just say dumb shit all day, and just like roast motherfuckers, and you know, man, it's just good, man. He's honestly like my transition to LA. I mean, I would never even moved out here if it weren't for Dumb.
Damn.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Just
yeah.
I just like kind of like, you know, because he's like he knows like all like spots to eat at and like. I think I had an idea to come out here for like 3 months, and then he was just like, dude, if you're gonna do it, you might as well just do a whole year. And then kind of deciding that, I was just like, you know, sticking to a whole year, and then just like fell in love with this place. Yeah. And, you know, just coming out here and visiting, dude, was like my real exposure to like how dope LA was and the scene was and stuff like that. Yeah. Shout out to Dumb.
Shout out to Dumb, man. Bro. You know, my K-pop single out right now attached to that EP, Why Am I Like This? Rekstizzy, man, do you have like any other like music or projects coming out in the near future?
Yeah, I've been working on an album called Young Adult Fiction. Like title?
Yeah.
It's a cool title.
Sounds like a book.
Yeah. But I think I'm just gonna release the songs as singles and just not do the project, right? I don't know.
I mean,
what's your take?
My take on it is that the single route is the way to go, and then once you have a single pop off, you really just attach that single to a project.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep putting them out. Like, this is a song from Young Adult Fiction.
Yeah,
this is a song, and then by the end, it's like, okay, you got all the songs.
Yeah,
done.
Shit, do it that way, man. Yeah. Rekstizzy, where can everybody find you?
Find me on Instagram, but I'm trying to work on getting my Twitter numbers up and just start using that more. But I'm on twitch.tv/Rekstizzy, streaming on there from like 4 to 8 p.m. usually. I do podcasts. Like I said, I eat, I talk shit, I freestyle on there sometimes, play some video games. Let's go.
I gotta ask you this: how'd you get the name Rekstizzy?
It's derivative of Reckless. It's like my first rap name, and Reckless just sounded like I hate my parents.
That sounds like you just looked in the dictionary and you said,
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds very battly. I don't really like battling motherfuckers. Actually, when I'm drunk, we like to battle a little bit. But
I feel like the next podcast I get you on, we got to be like stupid faded.
Yeah, maybe. I might regret like everything I say. But yeah, man. Yo, thanks for having me on here, man.
Likewise, man. This is the lunch table, food for thought. I'm Nico Blitz, Rekstizzy, and we are out, everybody. Yay!